Back here on ESPN Bet Live, looking at some player props that the public likes. At QB, Jared Goff's alt line of 225-plus passing yards getting some love. He has hit over this number in 8 of his last 9 games. Number 2 on the list, Patrick Mahomes to throw 2 or more passing TDs. He, however, has only thrown 2-plus touchdowns in 8 games this year. The most popular prop, though, of all is his teammate Travis Kelce to have more than 45 receiving yards. Kelce has been a historically awesome playoff performer. Take a look at this streak he's on. If you bet him to go over his receiving yardage prop in each of the last 13 playoff games, you have won 13 consecutive bets, dating back to the 2020 postseason. So back with the gang here, let's dive into some of our favorite player props that we're looking at today. Erin, you get to lead us off.
All right, let's take a look at my menu. Typically I only have like 1 or 2, but I have more than that today, which is a little bit surprising. We do have some touchdown scores in this one, that being, of course, Jaden Daniels. I think he ultimately ends up rushing for a touchdown. Here we go. All right, we're going to start with rushing attempts. All right, we're going to backtrack a little bit here. Over 10.5 rushing attempts for him. This has been the highest that he's posted, the number-wise so far this season. But look, guys, I mean, he had 13 carries last week, and that was going against the Bucs defense that's number 1 at stopping the run in the second half of the season. So I do like him to go over 10.5 rushing attempts. One of my favorite bets for the day. But as I mentioned at the beginning there, I'd like him to score a touchdown. Also looking at Terry McLaurin, which I talked about earlier in the show. He's obviously a top weapon for him. And then this one's a little bit dicey. Isaiah Pacheco over 10.5 rushing attempts. I tried to sell somebody on this late last night, and they were not having it. They're like, he's injured. I don't like that one. And I was like, you know what? I do, because he's an absolute monster in the postseason. So I'm expecting him to hit over that mark. Even though, again, he's been injured. I get that, but at 10.5, it's a low number posted for him.
They're playing with the lead. You'll have a good opportunity to rack them up
Thank you,
later,
Joe.
too.
Exactly. So, see, that's the person that was giving me that.
We'll leave that person out of this, but I agree with you as well. I think Kansas City is winning that game and running the football a lot. Joe, your turn. What's on your menu?
Stafford, yes, interception against the blitz. 3 TDs to 1 interception. Fantastic. When he's not blitzed, that drops to 2 to 1. More opportunity because the Eagles don't blitz. Cold weather, outdoor game, lots of travel, aggressive pass rush, great secondary. I think they get Stafford at least once in a game where he's trailing and has to throw late. On top of that, there's 3 others we're looking at. We're going to spread the board. Dalton Schultz, Texans tight end, over 39.5 receiving yards. Nobody's given up more receiving yards to opposing tight ends this season than the Kansas City Chiefs. With Tank Dell hurt and Joe Mixon banged up, he becomes a big weapon for C.J. Stroud in a game where they'll be trailing. Austin Eckler, I think the Commanders figured out their problem last week. Too much Brian Robinson, too little Austin Eckler. You got to flip that today with a total of 55.5. And then Jaden Daniels, we talked about this yesterday. Yeah. It was minus 130. Of course, it goes up to minus 150. But I think given the fact that you look at the total, the environment, he's indoors, Stroud's outdoors, the weapons, that favors Daniels as well. Minus 150 to have more passing yards than C.J. Stroud, I'm in on that. But that's the cap on that price. Anything higher is a no-go.
We should give you the credit for the CLV because you said it. It's going to be minus 150 when I have to talk about it tomorrow, and I kind of want it to be a best bet. We'll see if you can still write.
Have you decided on one yet?
Have I? No. But
I don't have best bet?
Not yet. I'm looking at what you're doing here.
We have 15 minutes.
Well, 15 minutes is a lifetime for me, Erin.
To give him credit, we just found out these games were being played this morning.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike.
Maybe I can steal something from Anita here because she's got, geez, how many plays for your player props?
I know we called this the Cheesecake Factory. I was actually at Cheesecake Factory last week, and I thought about the show. Let's start with Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to go over 1.5 touchdown passes. He's got 31 touchdown passes in 12 home playoff games. Dude is going to grip it and rip it. We know that, and he's got a plethora of talent around him that are finally healthy. Jaden Daniels, I'm with you. Erin, love the over-rushing attempts. I think he's going to have to use his legs. Here's a sneaky good play for you. How about Kenneth Gainwell, over 9.5 rushing yards? Saquon Barkley's going to need a breather. Don't you think? Weather's not going to be good. I think the Eagles are going to be really committed to running the football, and I think Gainwell is going to get some love. And another running back who's the change of pace, and that's Justice Hill, over 2.5 receptions. The Bills are the second worst defense in the league against running backs in the passing game. So I think Justice Hill has a pretty big one. And last but not least, it's not up there. Maybe there's just not enough room on the graphic. But I do like Josh Allen over his rushing yards as well at 44.5. He's rushed for 46 yards, if not more, in 6 of his last 8 playoff games. he is going to have to use his legs tomorrow night in order to try to beat the Ravens.
Have you ever considered betting an under, or are you allergic?
The only okay, I like betting overs because I like rooting for players.
Wait, there's one that's not on the board. It's also an over. The only under that I would play today is Joe Mixon under his rushing total, because again, I know Adam Schefter is reporting that he's going to start, but I just don't think he's going to be that
Did you bet any unders
active and attractive.
I like that Mixon over, by the way.
You like the Mixon over?
Just ignoring me.
Yeah, I think Aaron's making a good point. You didn't have any unders on your card.
It's really just.
Yeah, he's
Charlie
blatantly
Brown.
ignoring me. Meanwhile, the producer's in my ear, like, tell me you didn't have an under. Tell me you didn't have an under.
I'll rip through mine quickly. I'm starting with the quarterback as well, Patrick Mahomes. Over 249.5 passing yards. Go back a couple of years and imagine getting this line with Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game. However, the regular season was just pedestrian by his standard. In the postseason now, though, he's got a healthy Travis Kelce, a healthy wide receiving core, a reshuffled offensive line that protected much better down the stretch. He threw for 320 in Week 17 against the Steelers and 260 against these Texans in Week 16. So I think he is dialed up for a big game through the air. I'll give you a couple of unders. How about that? Jahmyr Gibbs. Check this out, guys. He played 8 home games with David Montgomery healthy this season. How many times do you think he had 16 rushing attempts in those 8 home games? 0. He did not get 16 rush attempts with a healthy David Montgomery in the backfield with him at home one time this year. Stafford, we know that explosive playability for the Rams has been lacking this year, and that Eagles defense limits explosive plays. And then the big dog, 99-plus rush yards. He had 199 against the Bills, and they're going to run the rock in this cold weather.
Glass half full, glass half empty. That's all I'm saying.
I like to mix it up.
Unders in the postseason. Ugh.
The great thing about unders is you're winning.
You're winning right away
until you're losing them.
That's a good point, Joe. Back with the squad here on ESPN Bet Live. Who is going to throw for the most yards this weekend? Well, Jared Goff will be your favorite of the 8 quarterbacks to do so at plus 225. Goff had the second most passing yards in the regular season behind only Joe Burrow. Trailing Goff in this market as far as pricing is Patrick Mahomes. After that, Josh Allen, followed by Matthew Stafford and Jaden Daniels. So this is a market you can bet at ESPN Bet. 8-way head-to-head here, Erin. Who would you pick for the most passing yards?
I mean, it's hard not going with the favorite here in Goff, but I'll go with Jaden Daniels because I do think Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen won't have to throw the ball as much in their respective matchups. But as for Jaden Daniels, I mean, he's likely to be playing from behind. He's going to have to move the ball down the field, and he should be able to do that against this Detroit Lions defense. He got going through the air last week against the Bucs, and the Bucs were really bad at defending the pass. So if he's able to do that, he should be able to put up a big number. And again, I think he's going to have to be throwing the ball downfield. We also see this total as one of the highest. We're expecting points. So I'll go with Jaden Daniels 6-1.
I love that. A great kind of leverage play against Goff as the favorite. Guy in the same game who might be trailing and throwing a lot. I'm on board with that. At pass catcher, take a look at the odds boards here. It's Puka Nacua, guys, who has the shortest odds to lead the weekend in receiving yards. Right behind him is Nico Collins. Detroit and Philly have a pair of players each on the board. Amon-Ra and Jameson, AJ and Devontae. Anita, it's your turn. You nailed this market last week with the rookie lad McConkey, who was 12-1.
New pair of shoes.
Got the new Uggs on her feet, too.
Those are not Uggs, Tyler. Come on.
No, they are Uggs.
Those are Uggs?
Yeah. The only reason I know that is because someone already asked her in the studio.
Funny ones.
I would not have guessed that either. But all right, buy another pair of shoes for the people, Anita.
Knows those
I'm showing my ungirliness.
Let's go 9-1. Let's go 9-1 with Scary Terry. High pass volume we're expecting in this game. Also, get this, guys, and gals. Wide receivers are targeted 70% of the time against the Detroit Lions, the highest target share in the NFL against their defense to wide receivers. Terry McLaurin, 27% of the target share against man coverage. And that's right, you guessed it. Lions play a lot of man coverage. Great chemistry between him and Jaden Daniels. Lions secondary is having a lot of issues, and the total here is at 55.5. So I think a lot of offense we're going to see. So Terry McLaurin 9-1, and you can buy yourself a new pair of Uggs.
Might as well correlate Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. If they're both going to go off, you know where most of that is going in that Commander offense. All right, Joe, you're going to handle rushing, but let's show the people what we have as far as the odds boards here. Surprise, surprise. Saquon, who ran for 255 against the Rams earlier this year, is your favorite. Derrick Henry at 3-1. The rest of the names you can read and see on your screen. Joe, who would you select?
So my approach to markets like this, normally I'm looking to throw a dart. I'm not looking to find like a 550 or an 8-1. Like maybe there could be value in those, but I'm normally not looking to play that. Like, can we take a shot here and put ourselves in a position for a bigger payday? Full disclosure, I wanted CJ Stroud. I've seen him as high as 50-1. We're not offering him. Lamar Jackson is sitting there 30-1. That's a shot I would take. When the weather dips, well, we showed this yesterday. It's a crazy stat. When the weather dips below 32 degrees, he's only had 4 games in that situation. Today will be 5, but he's a perfect 4-0 against the spread. He's averaging 77 rushing yards per game in those matchups. Like, the kid from Miami likes to run in the cold weather, and he tends to have a lot of success. And given what we saw last week against the Steelers and the fact that the Bills are going to have to account for Derrick Henry, 30-1, let's throw a dart, see what comes up.
I mean, if there is going to be one non-running back, I should say, that leads the weekend in rushing yards, you would think Lamar Jackson, who can rush for $150 in a game if everything hits, makes sense. 30-1? Throw that dart, Joe Fortenbaugh. I respect it. First touchdown score. Some big odds on the board for these games. Kelce and Pacheco leading all options in our first game. Lions running back duo, the same in the nightcap. Tomorrow, Saquon and Derrick Henry, the favorites to be the first to find the paint. No shocker there. All right, let's play this game because we like to. Anita, first touchdown of the day.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. The Houston Texans give up a 7% touchdown rate to opposing tight ends. That's 27th in the NFL. And again, Travis Kelce, I've been talking about it all show long. Just him and Patrick Mahomes, different animals in the postseason. I think Andy Reid schemes for him. So Travis Kelce.
He scored the first touchdown in 5 of Kansas City's last 7 playoff games.
There you go.
That's a nice, compelling trend there that makes you feel comfy. I put David Montgomery in my anytime touchdown parlay. Might as well have him score the first touchdown in the nightcap today. Again, I think Dan Campbell's the type of guy, even in a playoff game, one, they're really good at running the football, but this guy's missed 3 games. He's been the heart and soul of their offense. They get down near the goal line. He'll try and give Montgomery every opportunity to punch one in there for the Lions. So I like David Montgomery. Joe, tomorrow in the Eagles-Rams game.
Eagle wide receiver Devonta Smith. It's 10-1. Like, a lot of people will look at Philly and they'll talk about the slow starts, right? Why would you want an Eagle player scoring the first touchdown with the slow starts? Same thing for the Rams. When they go outdoors this year, they're scoring 6 points per first half. They have the same issues. So let's go back to the Eagles side. I think A.J. Brown's hurt. I think they key on Saquon Barkley. Maybe he ends up scoring the first touchdown, but at 10-1, we'll take a shot there with the player who did not play in the first meeting between these two.
All right, that means, Erin, you get Bills-Ravens.
All right, I'm going Dolan Kincaid, 15-1. Seems very random, and that it is. Now, he only has 2 touchdowns this season, well aware of that. But if we look at this Ravens defense, they're allowing a ton of yards to opposing tight ends. I also feel like come the postseason, you're thinking of, let's stop Josh Allen, okay? Let's stop James Cook. Let's focus on some of these guys. Who was really thinking about Dolan Kincaid? I wasn't, so that's why I went with 15-1.
15-1. Now we're cooking there with a first touchdown
at least one long
play.
shot.
If you want to parlay these together, $1. $1 for these 4 to be the first touchdown scorer in the game would net you $6,930.
That's a lot of shoes.
What does $1 million get you?
Easy, Gus. Easy.